Welcome to our podcast, Learn Biblical Greek, brought to you by Dr. William Stewart, the co-founder of Telios. This captivating podcast teaches you biblical Greek through a verse-by-verse study of the book of Ephesians, interjecting Greek grammar, Greek word meanings, and vital theology concepts. Thanks for joining us on this exciting biblical journey. Your study will be more effective if you use the Greek text with the Bible word codes, either on the eSword download or Bible Hub website. These links are on our podcast website at www.teliosresearch.com.
Hi, I'm William Stewart, co-founder of Telios. Welcome back to our podcast on learning biblical Greek. This is the podcast where you get to learn the grammar, the words in Greek, how it helps, interpretation of scripture so we can know God better and serve him better. We talk about the theology as well in a great book of Ephesians, the epistle, which tells us in the church so much about Christ's salvation and the Christian walk. We are in chapter 4, the Christian walk section, going through a wonderful reminder of our salvation, which is the basis of our church life. And let's go to the text. We're in verse 10 today. And we've just got through talking about in verse 8, the Old Testament prophecy about Christ's ascension in Psalm 68, and how it is Christ who descended onto the earth, and he has also ascended. And this verse reiterates this fact. So, verse 10, O katabas. So, O here is a relative pronoun. It's not followed by a noun itself. So, and when it's followed by a participle, and in this case, I typically translate it "he who is." So the O there is nominative, singular, masculine. It can also be the undeclinable pronoun as well. Sometimes just have a O there for simplicity. So he who katabas came down. So here we have a verb. We've seen this before. Or the form of this verb in anabas in verse 8. This is coming down. Kata is the prefix for down. There is no augment here. Bas is the participle in the masculine singular nominative form. So how do we interpret this? BA or BE would typically be the BA would be the root for bino, go down, or just down. Kata, go down. In the aorist, it's BE. So we know it's not in the aorist form as it's BE, as well as there's no augment, where it would be kate, K-A-T-E, B-E. So the fact that it's there's no augment, but it's the aorist root, tells you it's not in the indicative. That S is that participle nominative singular masculine ending. So he who is going down. So generally when you see a participle, remember it's half adjective, half verb. The genitive or nominative are typically used as descriptors of the subject, and the primary verb follows. So autos then is he, and so he who is going down is. There's the primary verb, and the participle is describing who is going down. In this case, in context, that's Christ. Kai, that omnipresent conjunction and linking two thoughts within the two facts within the same thought. He who is anabas. So here we have a parallel going up in the same verb form as katabas, except it's going up, ana, up in the prefix. Uparano. So this is a adverb, and it can also act as a preposition. So it breaks down the ano, up, which we just talked about. Ano can also mean reverse, again, recline, but in a verb would typically mean up, though you have to be careful and look at the definitions. Uper is over, so over up. So, really going up very strongly, or over. Pontone. So here we have all, which we see a lot. Pont is the root word, and the on is the plural genitive, of course. Tone and areno. So here it all matches, making above all heavens. So, of course, heavens here would be in the second declension because of it's a masculine verb or noun. Heavens is plural in the New Testament. We don't know exactly why. I'm guessing it's a holdover of the Hebrewism of heavens being plural in Hebrew, shamim in Hebrew. So remember, in Hebrew, there's a plural of majesty. You can make anything majestic by putting it in the plural and in the right context. So this is probably a holdover into Christian theology. Generally, Greek heaven was not in the plural. So it's probably related to the Hebrew. So remember, about half of the expressions and points, words we use in the New Testament are related to the Old Testament. Makes sense. Ina, in order to. Plerose. So again, another verb. There's no prefix. There's no augment. So it's not a past tense indicative. Plerao, of course, plera is the root to fill or to mature, complete in the abstract form. That's typically what it means in the epistles. So when you see fill, think mature or complete. We see this, the sigma, so followed by an A, in this case an eta. So this would make you think of the aorist, and that eta is the lengthened form, which would make you think of the subjunctive. And there's no augment, so it can be in the subjunctive. So it would be should fill, the third person singular, all things. Okay, fill is acting on the all things, so you think it's accusative. And indeed, that A ending would be the plural accusative neuter ending for ta and panta. Okay, so it's basically he that descended is the same that ascended up far above all things, all heavens, that he might fill all things. So this completes this short section, reminding us of our salvation accomplished by Christ, who came down and who resurrected, leading a host of captives from their sin and ascended on high from where he sits. We know from other passages like in Hebrews 1, 8, 10, and 12, end of Ephesians 1, Colossians 3, 1, he sits at the right hand of God the Father and leads the church, for which now we're going to continue the discussion next verse, and a very important verse. So hope that's helpful. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.